You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box? What on earth's he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. Do you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
You're probably a bit confused right now. I broke the glass. It's all come back to me.
This. What is this?
That's my ship.
What?
Let me take it from the top. Hello, I'm the Doctor. I'm a traveler in space and time. And that thing buried down there is called a TARDIS. Time and relative dimension in space. You're gonna love this.
Hello, sweeties, and welcome back to Earth Station Who. That's right, folks. We are here to talk about the Diary of River Song Season 4. It's interesting. Finally, she gets to be teamed up with one of the most charismatic doctors ever.
Massive?
Yeah. Well, it's better than, Karamazov or something like that.
The brothers Karamazov?
Exactly. The juggling doctors. So, that would be actually pretty fun. And she gets to meet Tom Baker in this one. This is the fourth Doctor. And it's perfect for season 4. And we have a great time to talk all about this Big Finish adventure. And joining us as always is Mr. Mike Gordon.
Howdy.
How are you, sir?
Hello. Sorry, that's the limit to my
Is that your Tom?
That's the
your
limit
Tom
of my
Baker.
Tom impersonation. Hello.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. All right, and Mary, let's hear your imitation.
Hello.
Okay.
That was worse.
That's true. It's true. It's true. It's twoo. It's twoo.
It's true.
It's twoo. And we're joined by the lovely and very talented Julie Filipek.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a while, actually. I don't even know the last time.
It's probably been a year at least, I think.
I think so.
So, it's awesome, though. What have you been up to? How's the other podcast going?
The other podcast is going great. We've actually finally gotten to the second Doctor from a recording perspective. So that's been fun. I'm very sad that all of those are missing.
Yeah, of course.
So it's hard. It's been a lot of fun. I actually also did a different Big Finish before this one. So this is actually my second Big Finish audio. So.
That's wow. Okay. Wow. So yeah, you've got a long way to go in the Big Finish universe, dear.
Yeah, there's lots more to go.
There is so much more to go. So.
Wait, this is the second one you've ever listened to?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
What was your first?
It was the first Doctor, Library of Alexandria.
Oh, I heard that was good. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it was fun. Those are interesting because they're really short. They're just 2 episodes, 30 minutes each. So really quick. So then I came to this one. I was like, oh, each episode is an hour. All right.
It's a commitment.
It is a commitment. Literally, it's a commitment.
So to be clear, you haven't listened to any of the other Diary of River Song series?
No, I haven't actually. I was kind of hoping to before all this, happened, but there's only so much time. I still have work in this COVID nonsense.
How dare they make you work?
I know. I can't just sit around and watch Doctor Who all day. How dare they?
Darn, I know people who are supposed to be working and instead they're playing Animal Crossing and watching Doctor Who. So it's okay. I'm not naming names, so it's okay.
It's okay, Mike. We'll forgive you.
Shush.
I will say these each box set of Diary of River Song is self-contained, though. So I think the ones that we've listened to so far, and we're on the 4th one now, I think you could listen to them in any order you wanted to. I don't know, Mike, Mary. I don't think you could.
No.
I don't think. Yeah, there. I would say it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter. And I think, none of the characters carry over. And she doesn't even talk about any of the other adventures or anything. Yeah. So, yeah, they're all pretty much self-contained.
I mean, I think that's smart on their behalf, because it's, people aren't necessarily going to be dedicated to listen to each and every single one in order, like some of us do. So
why do that? Come on.
I know. Why take?
I think the others, like the other series that we're doing, is the Paternoster Gang, and each box set is linked. I think you have to listen to those in order.
Those you do. You have to listen to order because it's supposed to be one big tale.
Yeah, it's subtitled Heritage, and there's I think the third one is about to come out, and so that's continuous. And I don't know about the others. I've listened to a few of the other Doctor adventures here and there, and they don't seem to be as linked as this one. But
yeah, a lot of them are just standalone.
It all depends. Also, sometimes like the Time War stories do tie together. A lot of them, but I know. It just depends which companions the Doctor has at the time in the storyline, because they have certain tales for Big Finish with Doctors that have Big Finish only companions, where otherwise some of the like Fifth Doctor stories that have Adric, Nyssa, and Tegan, where they take place in order. But then you also have, others with Ace and the Seventh Doctor, and you have, and then there's even ones where you have the Eighth Doctor meeting older companions and stuff too. So, and then Big Finish also then has alternate versions of the Third Doctor. So it's pretty crazy what they do. And I
wonder if they have like someone there that has like keeps tabs on their continuity.
Oh, I'm sure they have to.
I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, they've been doing it for so long. I don't know if they've probably overwritten themselves, or certainly there's probably been many times where they put something out there and then the show at some point, like, contradicts it. So then they go, oh, well, I guess that doesn't count now.
Yeah, I don't think they care.
No.
What can you do? I mean, if the show contradicts you, they have no control over that.
Well, that was the whole thing with when they did for the 50th anniversary, the short with Paul McGann, and he came back and for the regeneration scene, and he mentioned his Big Finish companions. Everyone was like, oh, does that mean Big Finish is now canon? So it's just like
the whole canon argument's dumb anyway, but that was awesome when they brought him back and he mentioned them.
Wow. How many Doctor Who fans just went click?
Exactly.
I'm never listening.
There goes our listener.
Canon? What's canon? I don't know what you're talking about.
So there goes our one listener. Thanks, Mary.
Like we didn't tick off enough people by hating on the
it changes with every showrunner, and sometimes multiple times within the showrunner. So give it up.
Well, like the rumors going around, people are still trying to figure out the whole timeless child thing, and they're going, the whole 13th Doctor era is an alternate universe. It's not really what's going on in Doctor Who. It's like, oh, please get a life, folks.
Whatever.
Yes.
The next showrunner is going to wipe it all out anyway.
Of course. You can tell when Neil Gaiman takes over, he'll definitely do it. Right?
Gallifrey will be back. It'll all be fine.
Exactly.
Promise everyone.
Hell, Neil Gaiman will even bring back K9. What do you mean?
Yes.
So it'll be cool. But we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home.
those people who are still listening to us.
If there's anybody left.
If there's anyone listening, please write us at earthstationwho@esonetwork.com. We definitely would love to hear from you guys. A big shout out to our patrons of the ESO Network. Thank you, especially our newest one. We actually have two new ones. Thank you, of course, longtime fan Elizabeth Laney. Actually has subscribed to the Patreon, and thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And our brand newest one, let's thank Robert Young of Borderlands Comics, is now officially a patron of the ESO Network. Thank you, Robert.
Guys so much.
Thank you,
both
Robert.
are awesome.
Yay. So, yes, thank you. So, window stickers are in the mail for you guys. So, you will be getting them sometime if there's still a mail system. So,
yeah, if the postal system lasts.
You can use them when you can finally leave your house.
Exactly. Put them on that thing that's been gathering dust and pollen in the driveway called an automobile. So, yes. Or you could put it on your TARDIS, if you have one. So, until it changes shape.
Sure you do.
Exactly. So it would be pretty cool. But then, it would probably be like in Vincent and the Doctor when the TARDIS was wrapped up in all those advertisements and everything. And the TARDIS disappeared. It all got burnt off. That would happen to our window sticker, I'm sure. Okay, on to other things. Oh, yeah, The Diary of River Song, Season 4. Shall we jump into both feet? And, we have 4 episodes of it to talk about. We have Time in a Bottle, Kings of Infinite Space, Who Done It, and Someone I Once Knew. All interesting stories.
This series originally came out September 2018. Seems like so long ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like a whole nother universe.
That's a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
And look, this is the 4th one of these that we've done. Julie, you haven't reviewed any of these, so I'm interested to hear what your take is on River Song's adventures.
Oh, you want me to just give a brief one? All right.
Yeah, sure. Just give an overview of your thoughts on this.
Well, first I'll just give a brief, background of I love River Song. She's one of my favorite characters in New Who, because I just love the way that she, comes in and out, and she kind of runs the opposite direction of the Doctor, and she's always just so confident, and that's something that I really like to see. So when I was approaching these audiobooks, I was like, I hope that can come across. And it does, because, the entire time she's sitting here and she's like, I don't need the Doctor for anything that I'm going to do. I have the step up on everybody. And, she just confidently runs through all of this. And even when, she's kind of put some, things in her own way, so that, in the end, she can conquer who she needs to conquer. It's just really fun to see that she's like, well, I'm so confused, and did I do it? And all this. And, I love hearing her speak all the time. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, I can listen to Alex Kingston read the dictionary pretty much.
Yeah. And I know we'll get to it when we finally get to the episode, but her interactions with the 4th Doctor is wonderful, and I love how they handled it. So we'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, one thing that, some of the stories are better written than others, but I think one thing that definitely tracks throughout all of these is that Alex, I don't know if it's just because Alex knows the character so well, or, the writers do, no matter how, like I said, how they're written, the character always seems like River. I don't get the sense that, this doesn't sound like something River would do.
Yeah. Alex Kingston's very good at portraying River's personality in audio. You don't lose anything at all.
No, not at all. You could almost picture her completely through it. And
now, typically, all the other series have encounters with former Doctors on them that we've listened to.
So far.
Yeah. So that's why I said it. So
yeah, I know. I was agreeing.
The Doctor continues to be a presence in these, which is sort of good and sort of bad, because it's kind of cool to see her interact with all of these. Although, spoilers, for the most part, she can't reveal herself who she is to them. This is a different take, because this is one of the first times I think that she can be herself around the Doctor in a Big Finish adventure, right?
Well, according to this story, that they did have a history.
Right.
Well, they did have a history in the alternate timeline.
Yeah, in the alternate timeline, she goes all the way back to the first Doctor in Gallifrey.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you don't have this sort of like, I mean, it kind of gets old after a while in the other 3 series because she always has to think of some excuse to explain like why she knows so much, but she's not known to the Doctor and all this kind of stuff. And it kind of plays out to nth degree. And I'm glad they just sort of said, you know what, let's think of a reason why we don't have to do this time. Because the interaction between her and Tom, between Alex and Tom is going to be so good. We don't want to like spoil that.
Yeah, that was very wise of them because boy, do they have a lot of chemistry together.
Oh God, yeah.
From skipping right to the 4th story, at the
so
beginning.
This is how it's going to be tonight.
We'll do it
we know where this is going tonight. Okay.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
We're talking about her and Tom, so skipping to the first, to that 4th story in the beginning of it, when he says "Hello, sweetie." I mean, I'm like, okay, that's worth the price of this big finish event.
I'll pay another $20 if he says it again.
No, I could just hit rewind. But I mean, it was perfect. And for him to be the first one to do that, I think was also very perfect. I mean, I'm a big Tom fan too. So I just actually listened to the adventure that they just released with Tom, with the 4th Doctor, Shadow of the Sun, with him and Leela and K9. And I mean, Tom is the 4th Doctor. There's just no getting, like more than any other person who's played the Doctor. It feels like he owns it in a way that the others don't. They're great. They're all great in their own way. I mean, I don't hate on any of them, but man, maybe it's just because he's my first, but man, there's something about Tom that it makes it feel real to me. But I will say, overall, the 3 stories leading up to this are pretty much crap.
Wow! Wait! Tell me how you really feel.
Wow, Mike! What do you really mean?
Wait, I didn't quite understand that.
I'm sorry, but
all feedback comes to Mike Gordon, courtesy of feedback.
Apparently,
I'll stand by it. Like the first 2, I actually fell asleep during, and I had to re-listen to them. So I listened to the first 2 twice because I fell asleep during A Time in a Bottle, and I fell asleep during Kings of Infinite Space. And look, Kings of Infinite Space is just a chase scene. It's just an hour-long chase scene.
Well, yeah, that's
trying,
exactly what it is.
They were trying to replicate the chase.
Yeah, that was the whole point of it.
Exactly. Because the Doctor was being chased through time, and every time the Daleks showed up, they destroyed everything.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but it just seemed like we could do that in 20 minutes. We don't need an hour of this.
Well, it doesn't work as well in audio, I think. It's one of the problems.
I mean, some of it's enjoyable. Like I said, it's always enjoyable to listen to River. There's some funny moments in there, I think. But I didn't care for either of the companions that she gets the first couple. At least in the first, they're in 1.5 episodes.
Yeah, I like the cyborg that she had with him.
Yeah, I kind of like the cyborg.
Yeah.
His death made me feel something more than any of the others. I will say when
you almost
died,
got choked up there, Mikey.
No, I didn't get choked up because I didn't care that much. But I did think that they put in a little bit more work with him because I just thought that anybody else. I mean, the whole point was like she's going on these things. She's trying to get away, and Malik or what's his name, see, you don't even know.
Wow.
Malik was her husband.
Yes.
Right. But he's like, there's 2 bad guys, right? Or is there just one bad guy with 2 names?
Well, it's the same guy playing it throughout the whole thing, so it gets confusing.
You get Malik and you get Dante, right?
Yes, you get Dante.
And they're the same guy. And you know what? The reverb on them is so horrible that I can't understand half the words he's saying.
Okay, yeah, that was a bad choice on their part.
Yeah, Julie could talk into her Captain America mug better than.
I know, right?
I mean, right when it starts, when he starts talking in the first episode, I'm like, oh, if he's the main bad guy, I'm going to have a hard time with this guy.
Yeah. Well, originally, he was a friend of, married to like a college roommate or something. Or,
yeah, he was married to Jemima.
Yeah. And he then he revealed his true self to be the demon type looking guy.
Yeah, that was another thing I thought was not a great choice, that they look like the devil.
Well, it only looks like the devil to humans. I think one of the things about the Discordia was that with whichever race they were trying to kind of like either infiltrate or do what have you, they said they could change their form to something else.
Yeah, well, I think what got me was that, I mean, even if it was just to humans, how many times have we seen that? Look, I think we're past the point where everyone's greatest fear is the devil. It's just, come on. Think of
Especially
something
now.
better.
Oh, nowadays it's a little virus or something.
Yeah, turn into a virus.
Yeah, exactly. That'll scare the crap out of me.
Well, this was done 2 years ago, so they didn't really know. They didn't really have that reference.
Yeah, but they had the other virus living in DC, but that's a whole different story. But
I think, too, like the way that I take it, a lot of times when there's characters and they do something with their voices and things of that nature, like it happened during the War Machines when they do, it's like you can't understand them half the time. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm just not going to understand them half the time. And you always figure out what's going on.
Oh, sure.
So it's not like you have to, like, I think they did it
but
for
it's
the
harder
effects.
in audio, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have subtitles in audio, and it's harder to see the context,
I think it did either I got more used to it or it got better. Because I think during the last story, I definitely could understand him a little bit more. His scenes with River where he's trying to, woo her, so to speak.
Yeah, that was annoying in a whole another way.
Yeah. I got that. But man, that some of that stuff, and then all of them talk like that. So you have scenes where they're like 3 or 4 of them are talking to each other, and it's like I can't understand what you guys are saying. So I guess we'll just move on.
Yeah, this is almost when they needed subtitles, I think, on that.
So, as I sit here and have this problem with the Daleks and early Doctor because they're just so verbose and just talk all the time. So
yeah, and sometimes it's the same with the Cybermen too. Sometimes it's very hard to understand them.
So yes, I did not care for. I didn't feel like they did a great job introducing characters I cared about in the first episode. In the second episode, I kind of got tired of the whole like. And we go somewhere, someone dies. We go somewhere, someone dies. We go somewhere, someone dies. And I didn't care about the people dying, even though I knew I was supposed to. And it's taking its toll on River. Alex is doing a great job because she's selling it as much as she can. But ultimately, I mean, it just ends with like, okay, now we're going to go pop somewhere else. And it just didn't seem to go anywhere. It was just a waste of an hour to me. But that was my feeling. But so what did you guys feel about the first 2 stories?
I mean, I felt like the first 2 were the weakest ones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I did enjoy the third one.
So did I. And the third one actually was somewhat interesting. And then as soon as Tom talked in the fourth one, it was just finally.
Well, their interactions were so great. I mean, I just wanted more. I wish he had been in more than just the last one.
It's like I actually didn't mind the first one. I actually kind of enjoyed it for what it was. The second one was the weakest. I'm also not the biggest fan of the chase, not as much as my other podcasters actually. So yeah, that was a little bit weaker, but I understand because like that was what was asked for, and they delivered what was asked of the writers. So and
there were some fun bits in it.
Mm-hmm.
There were. And there were some funny bits in it, where
the dragonflies.
People have turned, the people have turned themselves into rats in order to survive, as you do.
Yeah, I thought that. I mean, I will say the first 2 episodes, I was kind of like, man, these are just getting worse because we've had some inconsistent ones before. Like then the 3 series that we've done with that we've reviewed for these, it seems like the writing's getting poorer and poorer. That's what I was feeling in the first 2 episodes of this. Whodunit does lift up. I love the Melody Malone character. I love whodunits. So this was in my wheelhouse. I was sort of disappointed that it all ended up being like a weird Kafka, literally a Kafka-esque.
Yes,
it literally was a Kafka. Yeah.
I mean, there's some humor in that. I like the play on the characters. You know, the other detective characters that they introduced. Whether it was like the Hercule Poirot sort of guy, the Velma and Scooby one, like they had like all these like weird like detectives that they were pulling from, which I thought was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah. It was just like there was just some weirdness. The whole subplot about, you know, oh, we're going to leave this house to you, and it was just like, what? Where did that come from?
Like, what is so interesting about this house? Why does it keep getting left to everybody? This does not make any... Okay, it's Kafka. All right, cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
The reveal that it was Kafka and all that was pretty interesting, but I ultimately think, to me, it wasn't played out very well, but I like that's one historical character that I never really thought about the Doctor meeting before, let alone River or something. And I thought, okay, this could be really interesting and maybe more interesting than the story was. But I think, you know, it was still, I liked the idea. There was a couple things that I did like. The idea that she, at one point, someone asked her, or I think she asked herself, like, I don't know if I'm a detective being an archaeologist or an archaeologist who wants to be a detective, like vice versa. Like, I thought that was an interesting kind of take.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the reveal of Kafka is actually kind of jarring because he doesn't really fit in with all the detectives, the theme that had been going on. And I didn't feel like they really caught the tone of Kafka. You know, it wasn't really Kafka-esque. It was just a bunch of these disparate characters. So I enjoyed it. I think it was fun.
I mean, it probably would have helped if she had given Kafka more time to do something more elaborate. She was kind of just like, hey, Kafka, do this thing for me right now.
Yeah.
I think that's where it kind of fell apart to me, because once the reveal it was Kafka, I was kind of like, okay, well, if you're asking Kafka to do like a story for you, I don't think he's going to do a whodunit. Like, it just didn't feel right. Like, it just that felt off.
And he wouldn't know Scooby-Doo to play off of.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, there's always the possibility right there. Come on. Yeah, and it was just most of the stories felt like they were just phoning it in at times, especially the first 2. I agree with that. But the way they wrapped it up with the 4th Doctor, it was good, but it wasn't great. Tom made it awesome, you know, but having, you know, the story, you know, where he wanted her to be the, you know, the concubine or whatever they wanted to call her. The, you know, River the consort. Yeah. And it was just like, where did this come from? You know, this came out of nowhere. It was just, the story it didn't make sense all the way around, and how they tried to tie it all together. And then the whole thing with the painting at the end, that seemed right out of the 4th Doctor era, though.
I think if they had started this, if they had the first story hint at some of the things in the 4th story, it would have tied it in all that much better. To have introduced the Emperor, I believe, is who he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it introduced him in the first story somehow. Don't know how, but you know, you could get that in there, and have the painting be established in that first episode, and then it finally get to that in the end. Then it would have at least tied everything together. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The Emperor just kind of came out of nowhere. And I kept, when they first introduced him, I kept wondering, okay, is this somebody that we've already been introduced to and we just didn't realize they've become Emperor yet or something? But no, it's just this random guy.
I think, and I think you're right. I think if they had built up to it a bit more and sprinkled some of that in the first 3 stories, it would have worked better. But I also think that the 4th story was written really well. I think I like the play. I like the fact that both the Doctor and River have something to do. Giving Alex and Tom could, you're right, read the phone book together and it would be flirtatious and weird and interesting, right? But yet they really do give them really good dialogue together. And that's not easy. Certainly, we didn't see it in the other 3 episodes, and the other 3 stories in this, but they really feel like they have a connection. You really feel a sense of loss, and that River's going to be giving up something that she didn't even know she had at the end of the story, as well as the Emperor doing what he does at the end of the story for love was really, I thought, kind of powerful. The fact that they kind of there was parallel and they kind of meshed them up together, I thought worked really well. I thought, as far as as she calls it a love story, and I think it is, for as far as Doctor Who goes, it's really a unique love story that I really appreciated. So, and it was the best use of the Discordia. Someone actually explaining that they don't actually go and change time. They're not masters of time. They just, like, if something doesn't go their way, they just go back in time and fix it. Like, they just, like, that's all they do. They're not really like time masters like the Time Lords were.
No, they just sort of co-opted Time Lord technology, and then they go back and try to engineer everything to...
Exactly. They were totally
themselves.
bastardizing time throughout the story.
And it's just like very specific moments. And it's like usually certain individuals, they're like, oh, that didn't go my way, so I'm going to fix that. Not like this big grand scheme of, oh, the universe is going in the wrong direction, let's go fix that. It's like, it has to be a personal slight in order for them to change it.
It's very selfish.
Even the stuff between Dante and River, though, I kind of enjoyed the fact that it takes more than just a series of, how to like steps in order to like make a connection and sort of win someone over. I appreciated that as well.
I mean, that's something that men nowadays could learn, because there's a lot out there who are just going to sit there and be like, oh, well, what can I do to make you love me? Well, you know what? If you're asking that, then it's not going to happen.
Exactly. It was like, wow, they went there.
Yep. That's my life.
You have this beginning scene that feels like, the explosion of Alderaan, like on Star Wars, Oh,
that's what they were totally going for.
Oh yeah. But the context is totally different. It's almost like, Princess Leia was married to Grand Moff Tarkin, and he caught her in bed with Han Solo, and now he's destroying her planet. Like, I just I thought that was go ahead, get that mental picture out of your head now.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Damn jerk. No.
But I thought it was a unique spin on it. And then, when he decides to, fix it, like all Discordia, he goes to the extreme, and he says, well, I'm just going to get rid of our race altogether. And even the 4th Doctor, Tom, delivers great. Like, I did not want you to do this. Like, I did not want you to wipe out your entire race, even though you guys are a bunch of bastards. Like, I just, and I hate you guys. I still didn't want you to wipe out your whole race. And I thought it was pretty. I thought it was really powerful. I found it like, the rating by John Dorney, I thought was one of the better written stories that we've had in this whole series.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. And it was the 4th story, it went to the extremes, and it was just like, okay, why couldn't the rest of the stories be this way?
Well, I mean, you could be saying that about all of them, really. I mean,
it's one of those interesting things too, where I understand that, you have different authors that you're trying to give some opportunities to, but at the same time, when trying to give this overall, direction over 4 different stories, either they need a better, showrunner, I guess you could call the editor, just whoever you need in order to make all of those stories cohesive. They could that's probably where they would benefit more than just the writing itself.
It's been one of my biggest disappointments in the series, actually. And this is the 4th one we've done, but to be honest, the stories that I find that have been quote unquote worthy and memorable, I think there are like 2 or 3 of them out of because this is 16 that we've listened to now. Mm-hmm. Not including maybe a couple of extra ones. And yeah, I mean, I know not everyone can be a winner, but I think I was disappointed. Originally I was disappointed because when the first time I met Alex Kingston in the to get a signature and all that, I told her I was very excited about, because this was right before these were coming out, and I said I was very excited about the new Big Finish stories, and she had a big smile on her face, and she says they're so well written. And I was like, oh, well, if Alex is saying this, then I'm really looking forward to it. And I've been listening to him going, yeah, Alex, I'm not sure you and I agree on what's well written. But
well, I enjoyed the last one the most.
Exactly.
I actually thought most of those were pretty good in the last one.
In the third one?
Yeah, in the third one.
Yeah.
I feel like we took a dip down in this one.
Yeah, I think we took a couple steps backwards, because it was interesting in the last one, especially because it was Peter Davison, and you had that Infinity restaurant they were at.
Yeah. That's the other one I was kind of thinking of when I was talking about the ones that I remember and the better stories. I think that one, her encounter with the 5th Doctor and now the 4th Doctor have been so far my highlights.
Yes, and his love for her was actually believable. The history they had together. Oh, River, do you remember when we did this and how we practiced, judo together? And it was just awesome, just hearing, from all the different regenerations, how she stood by him through it in that reality. And that was really cool.
And that's really different for Tom, because he's never played a romantic doctor before.
No, not at all.
No, but he sold it. Though it's kind of bittersweet because River did not remember those things.
Right.
I mean, it's the complete flip of her character, usually knowing more about the Doctor than the Doctor does for those moments. So it was kind of nice to just see that reversal.
Well, very true, because she's always the spoilers, type thing.
Right.
Or even, when she was always the person who knew everything about the other doctors when she's met, 6 and 7 or even 5, and Paul McGann's Doctor even.
Which I never really understood, because I thought that the series implied that she had dates, or whatever you want to call it, with all the incarnations.
I never got that. Did you?
I guess I just wanted to be kind of put that. I don't know if there's anything. I mean, I don't remember seeing any concrete scenes, but I just kind of felt like, I don't know, there was something that maybe an impression that I got that maybe it wasn't.
Well, no, they did imply that in the TV show. There's the scene where she's going through her diary and she's showing it to the Matt Smith Doctor, and she's saying, I know all your faces.
Well, knowing all the faces is different than dating all the faces.
Yeah.
That to me implied that she had met them all, at least.
I mean, I get it. She couldn't really meet any of them until she met 10, right? Because when we see her in Silence of the Library, she meets 10. Mm-hmm. So I guess, but Doctor Who, timey-wimey, you can get escape out of that if you need to. So I don't know, but in any case, I'm kind of glad that I think this is the last of the Doctor stories in the next few series that we get.
Nope.
No?
Nope. The next one is the Masters.
Right. No, but they don't meet no doctors, right?
No, but the one after that, she meets the first Doctor.
I knew she met companions after that, but I didn't know she met the Doctor.
Nope, she meets the first Doctor, Susan, Ian, and Barbara.
Yeah.
I will need to listen to that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it's played by all the characters are the ones who were in Adventures of Space and Time. So we get, because they've been doing First Doctor Adventures with them, which is pretty awesome.
So yeah. But at least now, though, okay, there's only one instance then coming up where she's going to have to go, oh, I know you, but you don't know me, and have to play that game. The rest of them, she can be, it sounds like pretty straightforward.
I'm going to be very curious to see her meet Susan, truthfully. That's going to be very...
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting...
I mean, first off, Susan's going to scream.
Of
because
course.
That's just what Susan does. And she's going to yell at grandfather because that's the second thing that she does.
Oh, grandfather.
And so that would be interesting. I also want to see like exactly when she meets that one, because the first Doctor goes through his, him being a really cranky, crotchety old man to being like more grandfatherly. So I'm wondering in which kind of era she's going to meet him in, because I'm really hoping for crotchety old man.
Of course.
It sounds like from the Series 6 description that each one takes place during a particular time. Like I'm looking at the titles here, and the first one's called An Unearthly Woman, and it takes place during the time of an unearthly child. The next one is called Web of Time, and it takes place during the
Web Planet. Web Planet.
The Web of Fear. It takes place during the Web of Fear time. So it has the Yeti and the Great Intelligence in it from the second Doctor.
That's the okay.
Yeah, I was going to say
the third one is called Peep Show, and
she hasn't gotten there yet.
During the Carnival of Monsters with the third Doctor, and then the Talons of Greel happens during the Talons of Wing. So we've got some, and the next episode, the next story that we're supposed to listen to in Series 5 has Missy.
Yep.
So
I'm
Michelle
really
Gomez,
looking forward to that.
and that one I'm really looking forward to. So, because the dynamic of those two could be amazing.
Awesome.
That's just going to explode.
So, I'm still looking forward to them. I think Alex is, like I said, is doing a great job. No matter, like I said, as far as the writing goes, it's kind of hit or miss. But I mean, she's doing everything she can to sell it, and I don't ever feel like, oh, this is not the River Song that I know. Instead, it's just more like, ooh, I wish the adventure was a little bit more exciting.
Exactly. Oh, in any of these stories, she's great. I like her in all of them. Yeah. Just some of the stories are weaker than the others.
Yeah.
And I will admit something.
Sells it every time.
I will admit something, folks. I did fall asleep during number 2.
It seems to be the one where people had the biggest problems.
I was like, oh, this is still playing? Oh, damn. I got to go back and listen.
Yeah, I both times in 1 and 2, I was and I like audio adventures. So it's not something that this is not a new thing or a difficult thing for me to do. But there were times where I was like, I'd listen to it, and then next thing I know, I'm like, wait, what happened? How are they here? It was, yeah.
This is why I listen to them when I walk my dog, so that I don't accidentally fall asleep.
That's a good strategy.
So.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, I could see why. But it's really interesting, and let's move on to the next one. So
I think, is this the first one that we've listened to where all 4 stories were linked in a way that, you kind of had to listen to all, like they weren't standalone. Like I thought the other series, the stories were kind of more standalone.
The last one,
I think they were linked.
They were all linked last time.
I thought they had like a through line, but I thought there was some that were like more standalone than that.
No, because even when she met 6 and 7, basically, those all tied together, And then with the first one, it was the whole thing. They started in the Egypt going through the tomb, and that all tied all the way through the final story. Because she went to that big party on the spaceship.
Right.
I remember. Yeah.
And so they tied together. So most of this one was almost consistently like a 4-parter.
That's what I meant. I guess I meant this one just felt like a 4-parter, because I don't think you could, certainly that second story you couldn't just listen to on its own. But I think the fourth one you could kind of tackle on its own if you wanted to.
Potentially.
Yeah. You might need a little previously on to help get you up to speed.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, when I was listening to the third one for, a good portion of it, I was sitting there, I'm like, how in the world does this tie in? Because for about 3/4 of it, you're just like, all right, we're just in a whodunit. And then, it did bring it together, but it was just like this is something completely different.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And that it did. You're completely right.
Not only did they bring in, pseudo famous detective characters, but Mike, you and I just recently watched Clue, and I'm like, some of these scenes are direct
it was a lot like Clue.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, it was definitely at least an homage to Clue.
Oh, yeah. There was even times I was talking back to the phone, going, "Yeah, too late. Get on with it."
It's like a mix of Clue, Murder by Death, and a little bit of, and then there were none. They're just those 3 stories. It seemed like she was. She had asked Agatha Christie for help rather than Frank Kafka.
Yeah, that actually probably would have made more sense.
Too bad, Knives Out hadn't come out before they had written this, because I want to see how they fit that in.
It's a donut hole inside of the donut hole.
It's true. This did come out around the same year that they were doing the adaptation of Murder on the Orient Express. And I'm wondering if that's why Poirot is so featured in it.
Yes, him and his mustache.
Yeah.
The mustache. So, all right, kids, any final thoughts before we go ahead and rate this? Well, there we go.
I will say that, we give a lot of crap to the theme, and rightly so, I feel. But the rest of the music is pretty good, actually. During the stories and all that, I thought there were some times where they did other variations of the theme, and I actually really liked it. So I give credit to the person who's scoring them, just not the theme.
Nope.
And we didn't talk at all about the android. I just realized the android river.
Oh, the head that he carried
around.
Yes, the head.
The river head.
I kind of like the river head.
I said that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, especially because he tried to manipulate it in such a way that always, told him what was true and what was not. And then it's even then he couldn't overcome River because River's just too good to fall for that. And I'm just there we go.
He was never really manipulating. He couldn't even really manipulate the android, let alone River.
No, exactly. Whenever he thought the android head was working with him, it was actually secretly, plotting his doom.
Right.
I guess that one. I did appreciate some of that too, and I will say that I was just confused because I'd heard the first scene of the first scene of the episode is when she dies, when he kills her, and then stuff happens, and I think that's when I might have fell asleep, because then I came back and she's alive, and I'm like, what is going on? So then I had to rewind it to find out how she survived that, because she seemed like she was. And that scene was pretty brutal. I mean, when she dies, it really feels like she dies. They don't really pull a lot of punches there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to give him credit for that, even though it's just another fake death.
Exactly. Blast her out of the airlock.
And I'm like, when did she have time to build a robot? I was like, I don't know. That was
it's
a whole
River. She made time.
And I would I know it's the nature of it, but I would kind of like to have a story or an episode where there's not like the doctor's presence is not right there in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like she should have an adventure without the doctor, right? Or the doctor's presence.
She should have one with Captain Jack.
I think she does.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I think there is a not in hers, but I think there is a
yes
Torchwood one, right?
Yes,
there's a Torchwood one with her in it. I think.
Yes, there is one with Captain Jack, but you have to look it up on BigFinish.com, kid.
Yeah, because in addition to the Diary River song, Alex has done the character on a couple of other big.
Exactly. So yeah, you have to check those out. They're pretty cool.
There's too many. There's too many to choose from.
There's a lot.
You could actually go broke.
Yeah, and you can also see like my giant book collection. So yeah.
Yeah, but you can't read books while you're trying to work. But you can listen to River Song.
You can't read a book while you're walking your dog.
Exactly. Well, you could try.
Well, you
challenge,
could, but...
challenge.
She's like, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. All right,
just be careful.
All right, kids, let's go ahead and rate this. 1 out of 5 TARDISes. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Julie, you get to go first.
Of course I do. And also you kind of use a slightly different scale, so I have to remind myself. So overall, I enjoyed it. Yes, I think the second one was probably the weakest. But River's River and all of that jazz. We talked about it a lot. So I will go ahead and give it a 3.5 TARDISes.
That is awesome. 3.5, that's pretty high. All right, now the rest of us. Okay, Mary, let's see if you could reach that level.
I'm not going to reach that level, but I mean, I enjoyed most of it, so I'm going to give it a 3, kind of in the middle there, because, I mean, even when the writing was weak, Alex Kingston was so awesome that she makes up for a lot of it, and also just her and Tom together, I mean, that alone made the entire series for me. So, I mean, I think it was, overall, it was fairly enjoyable, not as good as the last one. So yeah, I think I'll give it a 3.
Fair enough. That is totally fair. Okay, Mr. Mike.
I am going to give the 4th story, Someone I Once Knew, a 5. And the rest of it you can listen to if you like or not.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Wow.
So no rating.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want to average that out, go ahead. But I mean, look, the 4th story is like the best thing I think they've done with River since they've done this series that we've been listening to. So that's worth listening to. If you only listen to one Diary of River Song story, that's the one I recommend. Do you need to listen to the other 3 stories on this in order for it to make sense? I don't think so. I think most intelligent people will get it. But if you feel like you need to, they're there. But I can't say that those 3 stories are any better. They're not certainly any better than any of the other ones we listen to. And they're not total garbage, but, they might be like 3s if that.
No, that's totally fair. That is totally fair. For me, I'm going to give overall a 2.5, but I'm giving the 4th episode a 4 for Dr. 4. See what I did there?
Series 4 gets a 4 for Dr. 4.
Exactly. But the rest of it gets a 2.5. They were not very great stories. I've liked other River Song stories a lot better. And I'm hoping for better when we go into season 5 and we get to meet the Master and River. So that's what I'm thinking. So we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. Please write us at earthstationwho@esonetwork.com. And if you have any comments about what Mike Gordon has said tonight, please, I will forward all this to him. So or heck, we might even, talk about it on the air. So, please, 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 definitely drop us a line. We definitely would love to hear from you guys. Speaking of hearing from you guys, we got a little bit of feedback on our emails. We actually got from our friend Eric Witzitsit, actually wrote us, and he commented on the Gunfighters. And so he said, I recently rewatched this, and I agree with everything you guys said. No. I would say that this is the worst First Doctor serial existing or not. It's not one of the worst in history of the show. Even when watching Orphan 55 or Rosa, I keep telling myself, well, at least it's not the Gunfighters. And until watching it again, I had even forgotten about that damn song. Keep up the work, Eric. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that.
I bet he hasn't watched The Smugglers. Because once you watch The Smugglers, anything is better than that. All right. Okay. Sorry. Any of those who are listening, I am a fan of the Gunfighters. So if you want someone that, also enjoys it and you like it as well, just let me know and we can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. You can find Julie all over Facebook. And what is the name of your podcast so they can actually find you?
Yes, our podcast is Watchers in the Fourth Dimension, or Watchers in 4D for short. And, we're on all the things for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And
all the things. Yeah.
All the things. And yeah, we were just watching Doctor Who from the very beginning, and we've recorded through the first Doctor and we've started on the second.
That is awesome. So I'm going to be very curious to see what your thoughts are on the second Doctor. So it should be kind of interesting. It's no Gunfighters, but there's a lot of good stuff ahead of you. So definitely look for the fine folks at the 4D podcast. They are a great bunch of folks. And so definitely do that. And of course, let's thank our co-host this week, Mr. Mike Gordon.
As always, it's my pleasure.
And Mary Ogle.
Oh, thank you for having me. Always fun to talk about River.
Anything you want to promote?
You can find my artwork at maryogle.com and on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Awesome. And speaking of great podcasts, join us in here next time when we're going back to the 7th Doctor era. And Mike, you might have one that might rival Ghostlight with you.
Oh boy.
We're going to be watching Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Woo-hoo!
That's right, folks. Dr. Seven and Ace are back. So it should be a lot of fun. So until then, my name is Mike Faber, and we will see you here next time on the Earth Station Who podcast. Peace and stay safe. And we're done. Boom.
Yay.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Hey everyone, this is Carrie the Metal Geek, and I would like to invite you to hang out with myself and my fellow metal geeks as we have all kinds of discussions about heavy metal, films and TV shows, video games, theme parks, comic books, and whatever else is tickling our geeks. Please visit our website at metalgeekspodcast.com and follow us on all the social medias, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Metal Geeks. We are also proud members of ESO Network, so you can check everything out at esonetwork.com. Keep it metal, keep it geeky, stay safe, and see you on the next episode.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.